You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
The Heron's a champ. Yeah. Rolls out to Freedom Park, rocking pink and black. Official tissue in the 305, bounty full of grapes. The Battered Fan with Chris and Dan dropping hot takes. Messi and the Heron start the season with a star on the crest. So 29 fan bases can cry, cause we the best. Sign homegrowns like Noah, Frey and Ruiz, replacing goats with greats. Yeah, Miles got the cheese and he called it. Freedom to dream was the backbone. From Lockhart to Miami, it feels good to be at home. Multiple times a week on YouTube and audio. Take the time to subscribe, like and share the show. So check and chat, grab your MLS cup and coming. No question about it, I'm ready to get a star again.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 522 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Garana, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
I guess I'm good. We got a game this week to enjoy, and it might be a win because we're now playing at New Freedom Bank Park.
Yeah, okay. We're playing against a top team in the league. Colorado is officially a top team. It's got firepower. They lost to Toronto off of a Zach Steffen blunder because otherwise they should be higher up in the standings. And we're going to talk about all that in a second. Chris, you about to say something?
Well, they also beat Omaha yesterday
In the US Open
that's
Cup.
That's pretty legendary.
They're in the Sweet 16, round of 16 for US
Union
Open
Omaha.
Cup. Yeah,
they got a team.
Well, you know what? That is impressive because Austin lost to US Elsewhere.
Yes.
We're going to talk about all that.
Huh?
We're going to talk about that later this week on the soccer show. All right. And before I forget, happy Jackie Robinson Day for those that celebrate. Big day for those of you that watch from overseas. Here in the United States, we celebrate Jackie Robinson Day. It's when he broke the color barrier in professional sports here in the United States. First African-American player to play with in the major leagues, which was all white at that point, April 15th, I believe, 1947. So today in baseball, at least in Major League Baseball, everybody wears the number 42 on their jersey. Very cool day. I was just watching it watching the Yankee game with my kids, pointing it out to them. We're going to watch the movie tomorrow. So yes, happy Jackie Robinson Day to everybody. All right. So Mascherano out. It's been over 24 hours. We've had over 24 hours to kind of just soak it in. Now, the things that you and I were kind of, right, because we hear things, but we don't like to report things. But now that it's kind of out there, we can talk about it a little more openly. Because now more people are actually reporting it now. So it's out there. Mascherano was having problems with Luis Suarez and Rodrigo de Paul. And that is one of the reasons why I believe Mascherano decided to just pack his bags and go, because he saw the writing on the wall. You know, they have been talking to other people, you know, and maybe that's what good teams do, right? Just like, hey, if he can't right this ship, you know, we'll have a backup plan. And if he does write it, then nothing will come of it. But regardless, he saw the writing on the wall. He was having issues with Suarez and DePaul. And you know what? And I still think that there's friction in the locker room, because we've also heard that it wasn't just Rodrigo DePaul and Luis Suarez going at Mascherano. But again, maybe it'll get reported, and we'll talk about those names when they get reported. But just know that they were going at some other players also. So there's friction in there. There's friction in that locker room right now.
And then you also have to understand that the fact of the matter is that a lot of the players that are having or had the friction with Mascherano, in reality, are going to have similar friction with Guillermo Hoyos, because he's the guy that has brought in new players to this team that have not been performing up to the high standards that we're sort of expecting, which sort of, you know, brings me to the point of the post I made, where a lot of the reporters now will be able to have the opportunity to not only field questions to the coach of the team, but also the person that's been acquiring the talent for the team for the last year and change.
Yeah. How is I haven't read anything. I mean, I saw that what we were talking about yesterday was finally reported, but I'm not saying anything here that I've read and haven't heard. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, no, I wanted to read a couple comments here. Well, first, I'm going to go here. Mr. Krabs is saying none of the new signings have been impressive so far, which was a fact of sort of Guillermo Hoyos' doing. And then Sean Callahan mentioning something very fair, saying our reporters throw softballs and have been since year one. This is a fact. And shout out to Inter Miami Burner, CF Burner, for putting it out there that there are reporters that are not asking tough, critical questions. And the fact of the matter is for a lot of fans that are sort of following because of higher profile names like Messi, because of Suarez, the fact is that regardless of who you follow, these reporters are supposed to concretely stand on the line and ask the questions to be able to get the answers to show exactly what's happening within the team, right? So there has been a lot of people that have been critical towards the reporters that don't ask the right questions, that aren't going at the team, or especially in this case, being able to go after the person that has been making acquisitions to players.
Well, and that was an interesting tweet that you sent out yesterday, right? Because you said, and you brought up something that we hadn't really discussed, is the fact that Hoyos was, from our understanding, one of the people that were pulling the strings and acquiring these players, right? Almost like the sporting director. He was making the calls. He was the new Chris Henderson.
He was. Yeah.
And now he is managing the team. So now all of a sudden he is available for media. So all the questions that everybody wanted to ask him over the last year and a half about the player acquisitions, why he got these players, so on and so forth, it's fair game now because he's got the mic in his face. He's been in front of the camera today. So if there was any question that wanted to be asked, now it's the time. So, that is something interesting, and we'll see how that goes. Now, you said IMCF2 or IMCF Burner or whatever. Now, he went specifically at Michelle Kaufman, which,
yes,
I mean, I don't know if that's what you're trying to do. I'm just saying in general.
Not just at her. There's other reporters as well that they ask a lot of ticky-tack questions and softball questions. I've seen reporters ask about what's your favorite arepa place to certain people, like what's going on here? Like, why can't the reporters that are there be able to ask sort of like these critical questions to be able to get some answers, especially now that you have access to someone who was wheeling and dealing in the backstage?
Look, I've always had this debate with you back and forth because you've always said this, and then I always ask you, what the hell would you ask? So I don't know. I do think that the person that asked the best questions was Franco, and I've said that time and time again. Even though everybody
1,000%.
on here hates that I say that, but I do say that. But I don't know. What would you ask? What would you ask if you had the chance? What would you ask? I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, I mean, in this very second, I don't have anything prepared, but I would ask questions leaning towards, for example, the signings that he's made, the Beterame, right? Asking questions about the Beterame signing. I mean, we're talking about, like, you can clearly go back a year and question the signings that he's making, and now you can actually ask the question: are you going to start playing these players because you went and sought them? He went and sought at David Ayala, right? I would imagine so. He went and sought out Facundo Mura. So you're talking about two players that just with those two, are you planning on playing those two players because you thought that they were highly talented and would take over a starting position over two players who have been with us for years and actually been performing?
Well, we have a guest. We have Mitch from Commerce. Oh my God, it's Commerce Radio.
Commerce City Radio.
Commerce City Radio. There you go. And before we bring him on here, the last
I think I got it wrong.
Okay, well,
hold on.
But the last thing, it's Commerce City Radio. So the last thing I want to touch on before we bring Mitch on, this weekend I think will be very telling when we see the starting 11, because RDP is always bitching at Ian Frey, even though RDP messes up as much as Ian Frey. If Ian Frey doesn't start and Muda gets to start, I'm sorry. I think Ian Frey's played better than Muda up until this point. That's telling. If David Ayala gets to start over Yannick Bright, that's very telling, because Yannick Bright has been far and away better than David Ayala. So we'll see how much power RDP and Luis Suarez really hold on this team with this starting lineup. There's no chance that Luis Suarez starts, all right? Like he's still coming off the bench.
Well, I mean, but that's another thing where you're going to have some tension. From what I understand, Luis Suarez is a loud voice, and Beterame is a recent signing for immediate success. Beterame is an immediate success signing, so that is going to be a conflict in itself.
I don't know. We'll see. And you know what Messi, apparently from everything I've heard, Messi stays completely quiet. He stays out of all of this. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because he doesn't choose a side. He doesn't get in the drama. It's a bad thing because if he did, he could probably cut some of this shit out. He could tell Luis Suarez, like, yo, shut the hell up. RDP, shut the hell up.
Absolutely.
Mascherano, that's it. Just coach. But because he stays quiet, I'm sure that things get a little out of hand. But
yeah,
it is what it is. All right. So we have this game on Saturday in Colorado. We have two really tough games coming in the next 7 days. We got Colorado, and then we have Real Salt Lake next Wednesday, which are two surprisingly good teams this season. And to help us preview, this weekend's game, we have Mitch from Commerce City Radio come in and join us. And there's Mitch. What's going on, man?
Let's go. I'm good, guys. Thank you for having me back. Always love hopping on.
Absolutely. And as always, I need to compliment your background. I've always loved your background. And I think I've done that every single time that you've been on, but I will continue to do so.
I will take the compliment every single time. Thank you.
Is that John Elway over your head?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got two John Elways. I got Fat Lever, Rashawn Salam.
Fat Lever, my favorite name. You know that game?
Sir.
I'm sure everybody's played that game, right? Like the most obscure names.
Yeah.
That's always one of my go-tos. I drop it quickly.
Yeah. There's some good ones in Nuggets history, but that's probably the one. So
there is some good ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
But no, before we get too into the
You're
game,
just soaking up in our misery, right?
well, no,
Mitch? That's what you're doing.
I mean, the Rapids are owned by Cronky
You guys are
Sports and Entertainment,
scoring
right?
6 goals a game now, and then now you're just destroying
and
us.
loading up with new players.
Well, so like you have the Rapids are owned by Commerce or by Cronky Sports and Entertainment, right? It's the largest sports group in the world. It's the most valuable. You have Arsenal, the Rams, Nuggets, Avs, but they also have the Rapids. And very clearly on the pecking order, there is everyone else. There's a mile of stuff, and then there's the Rapids in terms of spending, investment, facilities, everything. And so, there has been a lot of times where, like, especially when the team wasn't doing good, at the end of the Robin Fraser era, again at the end of the Armis era, where it's like, okay, well, it's not going well, and the stadium's kind of a mess, and the scoreboard is a disaster, and all this stuff. And so there has been times where there's been some had to be some tough questions asked of this team, and still does. I mean, it's not like Kroenke breaks out the checkbook. They'll spend $125 million just to, just on a transfer fee for an Arsenal player, right? They'll spend 10x the entire roster salary just for the right to pay a guy to play for them. And so we've had a lot of the same issues that we've had to deal with in terms of, fans asking us and all that kind of stuff. So I sympathize with where you guys are at.
Well, it's a weird place because like us as fans, we're very emotional. So like, I completely understand the separation between us as a fandom and the job of the reporters, right? But at the same time, like there is an area where the two can meet and say, I think our views are a little aligned. And I think that there needs to be some answers to some tough questions.
Yeah, 100%. And look, it's not, if you asked every question that someone on Twitter tweeted at you, said, wait, why didn't you say this? Why aren't you asking this? Like, you wouldn't be credentialed. You wouldn't be allowed in the stadium. You would get your one question and that they demanded.
Doesn't care if people lose their job.
Right. Right. So you do have to walk that line, but there is definitely the ways to do it, and ask the questions. And luckily in terms of the Rapids, they promoted Kevin Demoff. I think he was in charge of the Rams, and now he's sort of the top sporting guy. And he's been at multiple press conferences, been out to the park. He's answered a lot of questions, whether it was about they did like a whole rebranding thing this offseason. Well, they didn't rebrand, but like asking fans, how interested are you in a rebrand of the club, and all this stuff. And so there is a little more accountability than there has been, but it's so early in the process that we haven't seen anything from it. So there's still going to be some questions to be asked as we kind of move forward through this season.
For sure.
Hey, can I just jump in real quick on something off topic just for a second?
Sure.
I've seen a few people were laughing at me about Real Madrid. Luis Suarez hit the game-winning goal. I'm good. That's it. That's all I was gonna say. All right. So Matt Wells. What has Matt Wells changed about this team that has made such a big difference?
Oh, that's a really good question, and the answer is there's a lot. He's done a lot. This offseason in particular, the players and Chris Armas is a American Soccer Hall of Famer, right? Like his credentials are no doubt. He was U.S. Soccer Player of the Year. He's best 11 in the MLS a bunch of times, defender of the year. He's a no doubt when it comes to his resume in this game. But Wells came in and literally the players doubled their physical output in preseason. As in they ran and moved twice as much as last preseason. Wow. He is a freak in terms of game planning, situations, what to do in this situation, what to do in this situation, what to do in this situation. And so there's just another level. And I think, Armas was a step up from the Robin Fraser era. Robin Fraser, super old school American soccer, right? Chris Armas played a little longer, then went overseas and was coaching. He coached under Ralph Ragnick at Manchester United, under Jesse Marsh at Leeds. So he has seen kind of the upper, if you're telling Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes what to do in training, right, that requires a certain level of what to do. But I think there's just that next step up of a guy in Matt Wells who came up through the Tottenham Academy and then jumped right into coaching. And he's coached, around England, but mostly, he was under Big Ange and he was under Thomas Frank and he's under, he has this resume now of learning from really top guys at a young age. He's only 2 years older than me. He's in his mid 30s, and his attention to detail, his tactical acumen is very, very impressive. The way he approaches the game is it's really interesting to me, and I'm curious how it's going to match up with how you guys want to play. But he loves this, like, he wants to be a possession team. He wants to control the ball, but he wants to do so in that back or middle third and strike quick. He doesn't want to sustain possession in that top third, like in the attacking box. He wants quick strike, quick shot, make a play happen while it's chaos. Yeah, but he wants, they want to have the majority of possession in a game, and they'll just ping it around the back line in the box across the face of the goal,
kind of suck you in
until they find something exactly that make you defend the whole field, and then they'll hit you over the top with Hoffa or Dante Seeley or
Yappy.
Paxton Aronson or Yappy, or they just brought in Georgie Manungu from Seattle,
which I love.
Yeah,
Cyclops.
He's nice. He immediately almost puts a goal on within like 90 seconds of his debut, and then gets an assist a few minutes later.
He's so good.
He's dope. So yeah, it's an exciting time for sure. It's only 7 games in, and I've kind of had this roller coaster because the losses have been kind of alarming. The Seattle, the opening game in Seattle, and then that Toronto kind of meltdown. Overall, though, there's just a level of, I think, professionalism, and maybe professionalism isn't the right word. I think just operationally, they're at a higher level, and that's in coaching, training, planning. Everything is just done a little bit more to a higher standard than I think was there before.
And I don't want to get. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
I was just gonna say I don't want to get too into it, but what a difference between MLS managers going overseas and then bringing Matt Wells from Tottenham over here. Like it shows what a large gap there is there.
Well, and not only that, Danny, but you also have to like aside from what you mentioned, Mitch, the loss against Seattle where you scored 0, and maybe the loss against New York, you guys have been scoring 2 goals or more every single game.
Yeah, I mean,
big
leading,
time.
tied with Vancouver for the league lead in goals scored. It helps when you put up 6, right? That kind of jumps you up
Yes.
pretty quick. But in my time covering the team, which I officially became member of the press corps after they were the 1 seed in 21. So in 22 I joined. They scored 4 goals twice in the whole time until this year. And they've already done it. They scored 4 twice and they've scored 6. So things are improving, and it's almost no longer like a thing to think about. Like before, it's like, oh my god, 4 goals, this is crazy. And now it's kind of like, okay, how was the defense? How was the clean sheet? Did Zach have a good game? Like, is the goal looking good? The fact that you're not too worried about them making the other team score as well to keep it a game, I think is exciting, and it's a change that we haven't had. Hell yeah, welcome aboard. We love it.
Yeah, that is Danny's
Yeah.
favorite team.
No, actually, I don't have a second favorite team. I used to really enjoy watching Colorado with Mihailovic because Mihailovic
Love him.
is your favorite player's favorite player. I love Mihailovic.
Yeah, love him.
So,
Love him. Miss him.
Yeah.
He has like the most famous like meme after they beat Club America, where he just grabs the camera and goes, "Up the effing pids," and that turned into like a whole thing.
That one. But I
yeah,
love
he's the
Mihailovic.
best. Yeah, but I mean, it's looking better. They obviously selling Georgie. At the end of the window last time, bringing in Paxton. He took a few games, but I think he's fully in.
Well, I love that they're doubling down. They started well, and they said, "No, let's bring in Kosi, let's bring in Georgie, and let's keep it rocking and rolling." I love that. Like they're not just standing pat. They said, "No, let's keep reloading," and I admire that. That's what we love. That Inter Miami does that, and I love the team, especially. I mean, it's not a large market when you look at, especially when you see the pecking order of your ownership group.
Yeah,
but they're going all in anyway, and there aren't huge moves. They're not splash moves that are making crazy headlines, but they're moves that are going to make an impact, and they made an impact immediately.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to what we were talking about with Wells earlier, where he is so specific in the way he views the game and how it should be played, right? So it makes scouting players, for him at least, maybe not for the scouting department's going to still do the whole world of it, but for him, when he's like, I needed guys that can do specifically this, because this is exactly how I'm going to play. We're never going to change. Like, this is the model. This is how we're going to do it. And I think it's allowed them to target the right guys, right? They finally got Miguel Navarro. He was part of the Gutman trade a couple seasons ago, and then they immediately sent him back to South America. They brought him back. Lucas Harrington, they picked up last summer. He's finally playing, and I could spend the rest of my appearance on this show talking about Lucas Harrington. That guy is the truth, the real deal, the chosen one on the back line. Dante Seeley's had a couple assists, so he's I think people were a little scared of that sticker shock value with how expensive the transfer was, but he is fitting in. I think it's going to take some time. He's on a pretty cheap salary too, so not the end of the world there. I just think they've been really selective in how they've chosen guys to fit in, and I think it's working out so far. Early returns, but it's working out so far.
And you guys typically play like a 3-4-3. I mean, I've seen a couple of games where you play like a 4-3-3. Like, is that somewhat of the standard?
Wells, especially last night, they were basically, if they had the ball, it was like a 2-4-4, like a 2-4-4, like a straight flat 4-4 across with 2 back.
Yeah.
I think if you're drawing it up, it's a 4-2-3-1, but very fluid. Very fluid in terms of who moves to where. The shape changes. He has rolled out the 3-back because we were out of outside backs after the Toronto game, because 2 of them get sent off with red cards. And he played it again. I guess technically he played it again last night defensively. But I would guess if he has everybody or enough players to play the positions, you would call it a 4-2-3-1. You have that double pivot with Josh Atencio and Hamzat Ajitaran.
Yeah.
And then that top 4 kind of just does, they kind of just do whatever they need to do, whether it's, Paxton getting up and pushing the front, whether it's Yappy. Hoffa loves to hold up. He loves to kind of drop back false 9, almost to a 10, do hold up play. And that has been nice. And really what's been impressive for them is how those outside backs have joined the attack. Those inside runs. You've seen Keegan Rosenberry get a goal from the top of that box. You saw Cozy Thompson get a couple goals. He's really found a way to let Hamzat drop back with Harrington and Holding and kind of let everyone else get up and really kind of force the issue. And it's been impressive. I was worried they wouldn't even score 45 goals, right? And they're at 19, a quarter of the way through the season. So
fantastic.
20% of the way through the season. So yeah, it's exciting. They're exceeding expectations for me. I think I was on the show during the season preview. I was very worried about it. And you have Hoffa second in the league in goal contributions. They're looking. I'm reluctant to just be like, we're back, but it feels like we're back. So I don't know. It's tough, right?
It is.
So for those people that don't watch too much, are there any young players or just players in general that when you watch this game on Saturday, you say to yourself, look out for this guy because he's going to pop out at you and you're going to remember his name?
Oh, Lucas Harrington. Absolutely, without a doubt. He's 18 years old. He's a center back from Australia. He just got his first cap with the Australian national team. He's, like 6'4", 6'5". He's young, but he just puts dudes in his pocket. Like Bogusz for Houston was invisible. I kind of forgot he was in the game because there's nothing he could do. He is fast. He can jump like crazy, and he'll just come out of nowhere for these big sliding blocks. You guys were debating whether or not Suarez would start. Yeah. I don't know if he's mobile enough. I mean, obviously he's great. Like I'm not trying to knock Suarez, but like,
no, you should, but no, he won't start.
He won't get away from Lucas Harrington if he's out there. Like he just won't. Like it's like you need someone athletic enough to get away from him. He is, I kind of jumped a little quickly on the train and was talking about, like, this is going to be my guy. I think he's going to be young player of the year for the team. I think he's going to be the defender of the year for the team. And that was like hope casting, right? That was like, just please give me this. Yeah. And I think I undersold how impactful he could be. If he's starting for this team next year and not sold to somewhere in Europe for 15 million plus, I would be shocked.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking highly about that kid.
Yeah. And then outside of that, young guys, I mean, Paxton Aronson is still pretty young, but people know that name, obviously. Mm-hmm. Darren Yappy's been around, but he's only 21. Like, he just played for the U21s U.S. youth team last month. And then, I mean, that's really like the names. Alexis Manyoma has been okay. Go ahead.
But Lucas Harrington is that guy to look out for.
Yeah, 100%.
I was just going to comment on this real quick because Soccer Daddy's asking, has Miami even played for Colorado? Played Colorado before? We have one time. It was April 6th, 2024, and it was a tie.
It was a 2-2. It was a great game. That was the game that Moise Bombito, who's kind of like the precursor to Lucas Harrington, young defender, super athletic and special. That was like his breakout game. That was like, oh, this guy's legit. And they sold him for an outbound record for a defender for MLS later that summer. Like, he is, it was a great game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you a very simple question, Mitch.
Sure.
And I'm gonna listen to you, but I'm gonna step away a second after I ask you.
Sure.
Hypothetically, let's say you are a degenerate gambler.
Okay.
And you decide you are going to put the house on Miami. You have no idea why, but you're like, it just feels right. And then Saturday comes and you're like, I messed up. I shouldn't have done that. Colorado's gonna kick their ass, but I need to figure out how I make my bet right, because I can't lose my house. I can't lose my John Elway figures. I need to make sure I save all this. So you make your way over to the stadium, and then you see Hoyos, which is our new manager, interim. You walk up to him, and you yell at him. This is how you beat Colorado. What are you telling him?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Number one, if you have to beat Colorado, it is a relatively leaky defense. Like they're tied with Vancouver for most goals scored, but they've allowed 8 more, right? Like you can score on them. Rob Holding, for as veteran as he is, he's Premier League, plenty of Premier League appearances, played for Arsenal, played for Crystal Palace. He doesn't have the speed, right, to really keep up. And this team loves to foul. They foul. Like that's not like hyperbole. Like
I was looking at that.
They want to foul. They will foul. They will play physical. And if you can ride that and not get shook, because this has happened. I think they drew red cards from the other team in 4 games already, something like that.
Yes.
You just have, like, if you cannot let the physicality of the Rapids get to you, you can stay in this game. Because if you're just doing talent for talent, the Rapids are not a top team in this league. If you're just looking at FIFA ratings, right? Or like whatever that is. But they are relentless. They do not stop running, and they're going to hit you, and they're going to tackle, and it's not going to be fun. And so if you can ride that and not get in your head and not start arguing and getting chippy and complaining to the ref every time there's a foul, you can ride that through and potentially outclass them just on overall aggregate talent.
Of
right?
course.
Yeah, that's how I would say.
Well, and I just want to mention here, because you had mentioned about the fouling.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 3 teams so far that have had more than 100 fouls, and that's Colorado, Philadelphia, and Vancouver. And you guys are leading the board with 109 fouls so far this season.
Yeah.
So there might be some truth to what you're stating there.
I mean, they'll probably rack up 20 fouls in this game at least.
Well, it's not only that, but it's about the fact that, like, we have the players that sell a water to a whale when it comes to fouls. So these referees will definitely eat it up. All the complaining and the hand gestures and my ankle hurts.
Yeah.
So there is a possibility, like Miami King is saying, red card incoming, even for Inter Miami King, because Inter Miami are very animated as well. So there is a possibility that one of our players can be able to suffer. I mean, you guys have shown that other teams suffer red cards against you guys.
Yeah, look, the thing is, and the other thing on top of the fouls and the cards, is the game for the Rapids starts at the hour mark. They're in the best shape of any team in this league. That is when the game starts. If you can keep up with them in those last 30, they're going to keep sprinting. They're going to keep pressing. That ball, they're going to play the entire field, right? They play every inch of that field gets played on. And so if you're not ready for this game, if you got tired legs and you've been getting hit and you've been getting slid into and you're getting pushed down on set pieces and you're frustrated, and that is where they can wear you down mentally and physically. But it's so easy to, another hard foul comes in. You've already been fouled 5 times in this game, and shove them, get in your head, you're pissed, you're barking at the ref, and they're still running and sprinting down the field. So that is where this game is going to come down to, is that 60 minute to 85, 90. That is where this game is won or lost for them.
I can see that, Danny. We might lose this game. I'm afraid about prediction time.
Okay, well, I think we've gotten here.
Yeah, we're here, and it's prediction time, Danny. And I'm afraid to make a prediction because I'm not very confident in what I want to state. But we'll start off with Mitch because he's the guest of the hour. So, Mitch, let us know, what's your prediction for the game against Inter Miami at home for you guys?
Not just at home; they're playing at Mile High this weekend, right?
Ooh.
The Rapids usually play at Dick's Sporting Goods Park.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's good. I mean, I was there a few weeks ago when Denver Summit, the new NWSL team, their first home game was at Mile High. There's over 60,000 people, and it was popping.
Ooh.
It was awesome. They've sold over 60,000 for this game, but the Rapids don't have the following there's a lot more casual. So I think you're going to see a lot of kids in pink Messi jerseys and Argentina Messi jerseys and PSG Messi jerseys and right. Keep going down the line. Barcelona Messi jerseys. Like, you're going to see a lot of Messi jerseys, a lot of little kids excited for Messi.
Of course.
But that would have been true at Dick's, right? So if you're at Mile High, there is going to be more fans than you can fit in, and everyone's there to see Messi, obviously. But it's going to be a great environment. It's a great stadium, day game, a lot of eyes on it. And Matt Wells is going to be ready. Like, his game plan is going to be ready. Does that mean that they can stop Messi? No, I don't think there's one person on this team that can stop Messi, but they can score goals. They're relentless. You're playing at a Mile High. So it might be a little bit of a cop out, but I think we're getting a repeat of 2024. I think it's a 2-2 draw. I think both teams score. I think it's a good, entertaining game. And I think both teams are looking for a winner late. I think it's gonna be wide open for the last 5-10 minutes. But I think it ends 2-2.
Danny, let's go to Manny. Shout out to Everybody Hates Manny with the $4.99 Super
Primo.
Slam, aka Primo. Hoyos told Coach Luis Suarez, Veterame Allende, you got to start one, bench one, fire one. Go, and Mascherano fired himself. It's a possibility.
For sure.
See, I don't like your score, Mitch. I think I prefer the 2-0. I need a winner. I hate ties. Danny also likes to pick a tie, and I have a feeling he looks like he has a tie sort of score in his mind, and I hate it. Because I hate ties. So I'll go first.
All right.
Since you want to be a corny ass with ties, I think that this is going to be a 3-1 loss.
Whoa!
For Inter Miami.
Woo!
I feel like there's just two. Danny, you're talking about Mile High Stadium. Like, are half of the guys even going to be able to run the whole game? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know as much. I'm going with a 3-1 loss, Danny.
To answer some questions in the chat, Denver's at 5,200 feet. I think Mexico City and Azteca is at like either 7,200 or 7,700. Big difference.
Oh, okay.
I think Miami wins, and Miami wins big.
Whoa! Yeah. New coach bump. That's why he's out. That's why he's out, is because you guys were scared of Colorado this weekend. You had to fire him and get the new coach bump for a game.
We always talk about it. Whenever there's a new coach, just something happens, and it could be the wooden spoon contender, and they'll just randomly win one game and then lose the next 10.
But that didn't happen to Orlando.
I think it did.
Orlando, after they lost their coach, I think they lost.
Oscar Pareja, are you sure?
I'll double check. Maybe I'm wrong.
They might have drawn. I don't think they lost. So it's just something that happens, and I'm gonna go Miami not only wins, but they win big.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, Colorado. I believe in Colorado. Let me start by saying that. Okay, let me preface it by I believe in Colorado. But after I say that, let me go back and tell you. They lost to Seattle. They beat Portland 2-0. Portland got a red card, and Portland is also only behind Orlando as the worst defense in the league. Then they beat Galaxy, which it's the Galaxy. They're really bad right now. Then they lost to NYCFC 3-1. Then they beat Sporting KC, which we're all predicting they're going to win the wooden spoon again. And then they lost to Toronto. They should have won that Toronto game. Should have, but they lost that game. And then they beat the Houston Dynamo, which was a good win. And they dominated that game. And then they beat Omaha 1-0, but I'm assuming they had a rotated squad that game, so I'm not even going to take that.
Sort of, but they had like 90% possession. Like right. It was a dominant 1-0. Right. If that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah,
I know it does. It does. When it's those U.S. Open Cup games, it makes sense. So all in all, although I believe in Colorado, I don't think this is a game where they can prove themselves. And all of a sudden they like, okay, they're for real. Like there's no question about it. I don't think they've had that game yet, and I don't think they get it this weekend with the manager bump and with just the fact that their defense is a little leaky. I think Miami will make them pay. I think that Hoyes will come out a little more defensive minded. Maybe he comes out with 3 in the back. I don't know. Maybe he'll try something new, but I do think that Miami wins and Miami wins big.
I could see it.
So-
I could see it. I'm ready for anything. Honestly, this team is so. Again, they're very physical. I could easily see the Rapids getting too physical and getting too in their head and red card, and all of a sudden it's 4-1 or 4-0.
Well, and 111 goal is saying Rocco looked great in training day today, Danny. Just saying. Well, I got to tell you, 111 goal, he's also going to look great on the bench, right next to Ian Frey and next to Yannick Bright. And I mean, Rocco's going to be the only one not complaining because he knows that after the World Cup is done, he's going to steal Dane St. Clair's job immediately. Okay, guys, Rocco Blocco in.
And by the way, I don't know where Stack Steffens has at after that Toronto game. Where's he at?
I think he'll be fine.
I don't know.
I think he'll be fine.
Honestly,
Honestly,
he's had a rough go.
Yeah, and he was hurt earlier this year. I am not. At the end of the day, I don't think the team is worried about Zach Steffen. I don't think any of the players or the coaching staff is worried about Zach Steffen. So, I think he would want those plays back. Obviously, like Toronto, that howler. They're playing right off the lake, very windy. It's like playing a game in Buffalo or Chicago, right? And that ball goes up, that clearance is up, super high clearance. But because it's a pass back, he can't use his hands. He tries to just do his whole Man City pep stuff, right? And just kind of casually get his foot on it, and he blows it. Those mistakes can happen, but I think at the end of the day, if you replay those scenarios, like one, how often is that scenario even going to happen? Right? Like how often is he going to be put in a position where you have a flying like clearance back to him from the halfway line? I think Zach shows up in big games. It's the games that aren't huge that I think you tend to worry about with Zach. So I'm not too worried about him for this one.
Hey, Danny, I don't know if you noticed.
4 today. Go ahead.
I don't know if you noticed, but we got a poll running.
Oh my God! Why?
Just in case you're interested, I had to ask.
I'm not.
The people needed to have a poll,
And so
there's a poll happening right now. I just thought you should know.
Can I also bring up something on this too? I saw that Casemiro rumor today. I'm a United guy. I know you're a Real guy. Mm-hmm. I love Casemiro. That guy rips. If that's true, I mean, I saw a number that was like 70 million, which is like not true. There's zero chance they pay him $70 million to come to MLS. But he is amazing. I would love to get the chance to watch him in MLS. He's in, he had a fat phase at United. He's back to in shape. He's scoring a ton of goals. He's set on threat pieces. I really hope he does come to MLS. I don't want to see him go to Saudi. That feels like a waste. I really hope he shows up here.
I don't know. And I know I'm going to get shit for this, but I want to see him go somewhere else in the MLS.
Sure.
I want the talent to spread out. And some people are like, oh, you're so stupid. I don't care. That's what I want.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, I just want to see him here in general. Really.
Yeah.
So.
And also, we'd have to get rid of Berterame, which I wouldn't hate, but we'd have to wait. Chris, are you waiting to stop the poll until Rocco goes ahead again? Or
there it is. Yep,
yeah, there it is. I
locked
it in. It's locked. It's locked and loaded, Danny. There you go.
People have spoken.
I kept waiting for him to lock it. He was just waiting.
Voted and agreed on the goalie polly, Danny. Rocco Blocco, okay, won the goalie polly. That's it.
Hell yeah.
It's official. And
it.
Mitch is here as a witness.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I've had enough games against St. Clair when he was in Minnesota that I would prefer to see Rocco. So,
well, Chris doesn't understand that.
Mr. Krabs is saying you cannot vote in this poll, Chris or Daniel. I didn't vote, by the way. Danny did. He cheated. So in reality, Rocco is destroying Dane St. Clair.
Yes, my one vote made it completely.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it is what it is, Danny. You kind of botched the whole voting spat. Now, like I don't even know what to believe. I just believe in Rocco.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mitch, I appreciate you coming to hang out with us.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
It was awesome, and I wish you nothing but the worst luck. Please let everybody know where they can find you.
Follow us, Commerce City Radio. You can find us on all the socials: Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram. All those things. I'm also on all of those things. You can find me there. My partner is Braden Nurse. He's the beat writer for the Denver Post. You can find him on also all those same socials. So please follow us. We like to, especially because the Rapids tend to play later. We'll be on during the day on Saturdays, kind of just shooting the shit about MLS in general, and then dig in for the Pids games late. So definitely give us a follow, interact with us. We love to talk ball. So yeah, follow us there.
Awesome.
I mean, this
Again,
is
appreciate
diabolical
you.
what you're doing, Danny. I think no one should vote on this.
I appreciate you.
No one
Yeah.
should vote on this poll.
All right. Well, that's it. It's Saturday is the day, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Like I said, I do believe that it's going to be interesting, but I think that new manager bump, like we were talking about, will make it all the difference in the world.
All right. Well, just have me back on when we meet up for MLS Cup. Okay.
That would be awesome. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. Well, and we're gonna have you on the soccer show because this is the Herons. We're gonna have you on the soccer show when you guys make it to the Open Cup final.
That's true. Yeah. Can't stop, baby. Train's going. Let's go. Jump
That's
on.
it. I believe it.
All right.
Chris,
I
any
really
final
appreciate it,
words?
guys.
You suck, Danny.
All right. If you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening to the empty 5 stars in the comment. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we'll be back on Saturday for the post game. And hopefully Mitch is upset after the game. So until the next one, have a good one.